Part of Craig Breslow's offseason has been completely vindicated, with Garrett Crochet being the stopper for the Red Sox, taking a no-hit bid into the eighth inning yesterday afternoon in Chicago. That part of the offseason has been overwhelmingly vindicated, both the trade and the extension for this player based on what he's given this team over his first 4 starts. The rest of the offseason, I'm less sure about what else they did on this team and what this team is right now, because they were nearly swept in Chicago by the White Sox, who stink. That almost happened over the weekend. And there was probably a little bit of fear in your mind with runners on base late in the game yesterday that because the Red Sox offense collectively just wasn't enough again, that there was a chance they lose that game too, which would have been absolutely devastating if they found a way to lose that game.
You're not supposed to need the stopper against the White Sox. Call me crazy, but that should not be a situation where Garrett Crochet is going in going, we got to really avoid the sweep here against the worst team in baseball.
Or even that first game, you made 5 errors in one ball game.
5 more errors.
5 errors.
5.
You let a team score 11 runs on you that was on an 8-game losing streak and was averaging 2 runs a game over that streak and had the lowest OPS of any team in baseball. Framing it as anything other than embarrassing. That's the only way you can put it for how they performed those first 2
How's
games.
Triston Casas doing?
He's struggling. He's moving down to the 6 hole. I think it was the right move.
Getting around there yet? Getting ready yet?
Nope, not at all. Because a week ago, what was everyone saying about Trevor Story? He was going to be DFA'd.
Yep.
Marcelo Meyer, get him up
He's
here.
hot.
It's early in the year. Let things play out. It's been a rough 2.5 weeks. And on Friday, I thought that was the first time you saw it really wear on him in game. He doesn't come through in the 3rd inning, flies out on a cutter right down the middle. That's a pitch he usually slams. What happens after that? The Chase Mydroth single, he should have got that out, and the double play he botched. It was very Devers-esque in terms of, when things pile up, you can kind of see it wearing, and he took the blame after the game. But right now, he should be in the 6 hole. That's what you need to do.
Red Sox 1 for 9 in that game on Friday night with runners in scoring position. They stranded 9 on base. They had that 1 run that came on a sac fly, and that was against a guy who's not all that great. That's against Davis Martin on Friday night. Friday night, to me, was easily their worst game of the year. The 5 errors, the lack of production at the plate, the stranding of the runners, these are all things that have been not just in a snapshot a problem for this team. They're recurring issues that are happening over and over and over again with this team. It's becoming part of the norm for this team.
And they're going to stop talking about the weather. That's going to happen because the weather is starting to turn here. But my God, driving around, listen to some of the pregame stuff. The pregame guys are talking about the weather. This is an issue. The weather was an issue. Well, it won't be an issue when we get back home after this road. And they're just talking and talking about it. The weather is talked about all the time instead of what the issues are with the team. You just can't chalk it up as weather unless you really think it's in their heads. Felger and Maz carried this more with the manager when our show was over on Friday. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some good weather there. Said that before they left. The weather is an issue with this team. You better hope it stays 60s next week. And maybe that'll turn it around for them. But man, enough of the weather, even on the broadcast. I don't think I talk about the weather that much, even in Buffalo. Tell you, it's cold. That's about it. Every inning, man. Every inning. Like, shh. Not good.
I think you go back to when it was 2-zip in that game, Milliken, and how quickly it turned to 6-zip, where you say, this is how one mistake, Casas in the field, can make what is a unfortunate start to the game turn into a disaster.
Especially for a guy in Sean Newcomb who the error margin is so thin. 1 or 2 plays you don't make, it's going to look like 6 runs, and you're going to immediately be out of a game like that. With where their offense is right now, the worst thing they can do is try and play behind. You have Blake Sable out there who can't throw anyone out. We talked about it at the end of last week. 14 for 14 runners in AAA stealing on him. Immediately, 2 catchers interference. They knew that was the game plan from the start. Run on this guy because he has absolutely no chance of throwing us out.
Yeah, what should have ended the inning turned into, okay, now you've got the strikeout following that. So you still have 2 outs in the inning, but the fact that you extended the inning gave the opportunity for the top of the order to get back up, and then it was 3 straight hits, and things were quickly undone in that game.
And Cora punted immediately because once he was down 6, it was Josh Winkowski go out there, and you knew the game was completely over. Which, to do that against the White Sox team that is not good at anything, really. The pitching's been a bit better this year, but hell, anyone looks good against the Red Sox pitching-wise right now.
I think that is when maybe you had tweeted out pain. Pain? I think that was the tweet at that point in time, which was just pain.
Well, you had everyone, and I know a lot of people were clowning on Middlebrooks and Dave O'Brien because everyone was looking at this series and the 4-gamer you got after the Rays as a way to clean up, and you haven't been able to. I think what you hold on to here, or you try to be positive about, is that you're only 1.5 games back of first place. Nobody's playing good right now. Over their last 10 games, no one has better than a 5-5 record, so you're lucky the AL East is a mess. It's just this is very reminiscent of last year where you don't clean up against a team like the White Sox. That's the difference at the end of the year between the playoffs or maybe winning the division or what wild card spot you're in.
I think they're a lot better than this. I hope this is not something we look back on and say, gee, if you had just had more success against the White Sox in April, you'd be in a different spot.
Yeah, the White Sox invent ways to lose games.
Oh, man. The trip to Chicago could be coming at the perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, we all said that.
They lost 8 in a row.
They said they were going to go and eat.
That was a unanimous opinion about this team. Oh, great time to go to Chicago and get yourself straightened out. What's your big picture thought on this team, Zo?
Just that right when they're starting to put a little bit of stuff together, that they're going to get to 500, they're going to start to get above 500, and then go to Chicago and get on a win streak. Like he said, they're going to go there and they're going to feast. They're going to make hay with this team. I figured they'd come out of this thing up 3 games, over 500. And they're just sitting right there again, like a lost opportunity. Casas, got issues with him. I love Garrett Crochet. We're sitting in the car last night cheering on, wanting him to get the damn no-hitter. And then all of a sudden they take him out. That thing almost falls apart. You know, like that guy could go as far as he can, gives up the hit, then they take him out. It felt like it was falling apart again. Like runners on first, runners on third. I mean, they're a good team. I just think they're going to be a good team. I'm not sure they're going to be a great team. Like, there was a lot of energy in the building, around this team a week ago. That this could be it. This could be their year. I think they're going to kind of just be there. They're going to be good. Not great. They're going to struggle with pitchers. Crochet's going to be awesome. Story's starting to hit a little bit. Casas isn't doing anything. Devers is coming around. Not worried about him. And the questions are, can the kids be ready? Can you put them in one place? Do you have to put them in second? Can you keep them out in center? Do these kids have to keep continuing to move around? And does Cora really have to play the game of he needs all these bats in the lineup? I'd like to see him pick a true team and let him go play.
I think even if you look at the lineup right now, Wilyer Abreu moving up to the 4 spot is nice. He had that 0 for 11 stretch where, he got out of a funk but immediately started hitting. Even if you like Wilyer Abreu as much as we all do, you need Triston Casas in the middle of that order for them to get to where they need to go. Because to be fair, Casas at least showed for half a year or 4 months.
See, that's the
he could be
holdup.
that guy.
Like everybody else doing their job, and like we're waiting on Casas.
That's it. And when he took the blame after that loss on Friday, that's what he needed to do. On Saturday, when Cora sat him, I bitched all last week about him sitting against lefties. You had to sit him there because he was such a mental mess in that game. He needed a break. It was one of those performances where, holy hell, it's snowballing on him. But it's about getting him right. And you saw yesterday, 1 for 3 day, he worked a walk for the first time in a week. That, to me, is like Casas getting back to where he was. Because when he's not drawing walks, he has a 5% walk rate this year. That's when you know a guy is just not himself right now.
Nice to see Bregman go 2 for 4 yesterday, by the way.
Yep.
And not let a rally go to waste. Could have used him a little bit more on Saturday.
A little bit.
In a tight one. That was disappointing. 0 for on Saturday. Which, again, I don't expect Bregman to look bad or that part of the offseason to look bad. I just wish he had contributed in more meaningful ways to this point. That's all.
You know what I hate about their roster makeup?
What?
It might be a small nitpick, but just the platoon bats that they have. Way too many platoon bats. They shouldn't have a completely different lineup when you go up against a lefty. Shouldn't have Romy Gonzalez leading off. You shouldn't have Rob Refsnyder being your cleanup hitter.
He likes Refsnyder.
I hate those rosters that are made up of like two completely different rosters depending on left and right.
Right. It doesn't look like you built a roster. It again looks like
So you're playing matchup.
what we've complained about the last several years, which is just a collection of players.
I say it to Milliken all the time because I'm like, you front load your lineup with these lefty mashers, and then what happens when the lefty comes out of the game?
And lately, Cora hasn't even been putting in, the Casases of the world. Obviously, Duran sat the other day. He's been keeping Ref Snyder and Romy in the game. To Romy's credit, he's been playing ridiculous, especially at the plate. He's hitting everything in sight right
It's
now.
still Romy Gonzalez.
I don't disagree. I think you need to play Casas against lefties frequently, like they talked about, if you believe he's this middle-of-the-order franchise bat. But I think after Friday night's game, that was the one time for me. He had to sit. That was an all-time bad game.
You shouldn't be platooning your cleanup hitter.
No, you shouldn't be.
You shouldn't
Not
have
on
to.
a regular basis.
No, you shouldn't have to do that. Thomas and Quincy, you pissed yet about this team?
Of course I am. Listen, guys, there's a lot of things going on with this team. Like, one of the things that goes up my ass is what Tyler just said. He's like, well, Cass is getting back to what he was. He's never been anything. So that's one thing. To me, he is the most overrated player that I can ever remember. Beyond that, their defense sucks, which was supposed to be their strong suit with the additions that were made. That's all I heard going into the year. It's like, defense is going to be short up. They look awful out there. Casa sucks at defense as well. Bregman, I don't know what the hell is going on with him at third. I know it's only 17 games in. This effing line drive approach is not working. I know they're okay with the strikeouts, but I thought the whole model of them was going to be, we can deal with the strikeouts if they're launching balls out of the park and scoring runs, hitting home runs. They're not doing that. They're at the bottom part of the league in strikeouts. They're at the bottom part of the league in defense. They're at the bottom part of the league in home runs. Like, at what point do we go, okay, is there a dead set day where I really can be on my frustration and be legitimately concerned? And the other thing is, this whole mindset of this loser effing mentality of, well, the rest of the division's not playing good either, so we have that in our favor. I hate that. I hate that logic more than anything else. Stop relying on everyone else to suck so it makes you look better. You need to play better, offensively, defensively, period. I don't want to hear this. Oh, Story's hot this week. You think he's going to keep up what he's done last week the rest of the year? Let me save you the time. No, he's not. So basically what you're saying is Story's taking care of it now, but no one else is except maybe Abreu. So tide has to turn in such a drastic way. Basically, 80% of your roster, your offensive roster, has to start to effing hit. And please put some wins together, because losing 2 out of 3 games to a historically poor team like the White Sox is an amazing feat. And if they got swept yesterday, you think I'm pissed now? My God, they better get their ass together, because this is a painful thing to watch. Learn how to knock a guy in when he's in running scoring position. Bottom of the league in that as well.
Yes. Where is that in the drive line manual? And touching the drive, this is like touching the third rail with Milliken these days when you bring up drive line. He's very upset about the drive line critiques. Where is that? Where is the contact?
That is
and
a major part of their
putting
philosophy.
the bat on the ball and getting guys to not strand runners on base.
Bat to ball is one of the main pillars
Good.
of what they do. If you
Good.
go on their website, it's right there when you read it. We talk about
Non-existent
Christian
pillar
Campbell,
right
right?
now.
No, we talk about Christian
Yes.
Campbell, who's the product of Driveline, right?
Yes, he is, yes.
What sticks out about Christian Campbell? The fact that he puts the bat on the ball and doesn't strike out. I understand it's just trendy right now to crap on Driveline, just like it was trendy to crap on Andrew Bailey a year ago.
Yes,
because
it was.
People aren't familiar with it. The Dodgers, Mookie Betts is spending his off seasons at Driveline. It's okay if the Dodgers, the best run organization that just won the World Series, are using Driveline as part of their hitting program. I'm okay with the Red Sox doing the same. What I'm not okay with is
Mookie
guys.
Betts is not a product of drive
No,
line.
but-
Yeah, they also spent $1 billion.
They also
Of
have
course.
Mookie Betts
Of
using
course.
it.
But once again, to act like this is some kind of scam or this latest trend that people are just screwing around with. No,
It is
the
the
best
latest
hitters in the
trend.
game understand the importance.
No,
of
it is the
this.
latest trend. You're just saying it's a philosophy
But
that can work.
A trendy flash in the pan, this is something that will disappear in a year or two. No, this is just like when pitching kind of got reinvented and it's now at the forefront of the game. Hitting was just a little bit behind it, and that's where it is right now.
So here's really a fundamental question about the Red Sox. Do you believe they are significantly better than what they have shown to this point? What is your level of belief in this team? And you hear in the final call with O'Brien and with Merlone talking about stranding runners again, which has been a big problem for this team to this point. Their batting average with runners in scoring position is hovering around 250. They're stranding multiple runners per game. I'm sure they rank high in this regard if you look at the stats. Just watch the games.
Yeah.
You'll see it. You see it every freaking week. Every game this happens. So do you think they're better than this, or do you think this is who they are?
I think they're better than that. But that's like kind of why I asked the question. Oh, do they suck again? No, it's like I think they go through streaks of suck because you've got a great frontline starter. You got a guy that could stop the bleeding. That guy could go 9 innings if he had to. You got a guy at the back end that could throw over 100 miles an hour that you could use to your advantage. You got Trevor Story. It's starting to come around now. You got good young players that don't feel like they're in over their head at this level. I mean, the middle of your rotation isn't great. Triston Casas should start to hit. Trevor Story is starting to hit. Devers is coming out of it. So to me, with Campbell and those guys, and the other youth that they could potentially be coming up as they get worked through AAA and that, I think they are going to be a better team than what they are. Even though they're under 500.
You also have what could be probably your second best starting pitcher coming back. One more rehab start for Brian Bayo, who's down there throwing harder than we've ever seen him. And then Lucas Giolito. So there's depth coming to that rotation that should at least bring the floor up a little bit and give you some of that consistency. And then there's also Jarren Duran. Do you think Jarren Duran's going to be, a below average player to this point in the season where even his defense hasn't got you where you want to be? Like, it said a lot that Alex Cora sat him against a lefty. He never sat one time on purpose the previous year. But you expect Jarren Duran, who was a top 8 in MVP voting, to give you more. He will give you more.
And look at Abreu. Abreu came out like gangbusters, settled down a little bit, but he's got a cannon. Duran's a good player. You should be better than what you are.